Okay, so, this may sound a bit weird, but I think I live next to a serial killer.
Oh, that shit is bananas!
I know, it doesn't sound realistic, like I'm trying to clickbait you into watching my video just so I get the extra views, but I'll be straight up with you. I don't know if he's a serial killer. I mean, I haven't seen him kill anyone in front of my eyes before, but me and my family do have some really weird evidence to show you guys why I think he is a killer. Just let me explain, and it'll all make more sense at the end, I promise. Hey, Chris, wait, what's the deal with your voice? It sounds so fresh, so crisp. What happened? Well, my trusty viewer, you're right, I do sound different. That's because I decided to save up my money and buy myself a Blue Yeti mic and a pop filter for it. Before this mic, I actually used a camera to record audio. Yeah, not even a real microphone, but my camera. That's a story for another video, though. Anyway, where do I begin with this schmuck? Okay, this guy. How do I explain what he looks like? If I'd have to give facial features, I'd do a horrible job. Side tangent. How are people able to give the police details about what the suspect that they're after looks like? Like, I find such trouble even describing what my best friends look like to my parents. Oh, Ricky? He's, tall. He's got an oval head. He's got a mouth, hair. Ooh, a nose. Is that good enough? Is Ricky a drug dealer? So yeah, I'm not good at giving facial features. I can, however, compare him to someone else. Some of you may know the old story To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. In it, there's this creepy dude named Boo Radley that, coincidentally, shares a lot of the same traits that my neighbor does, which I'll get into later. So, to get a mental picture of him, simply think of the movie version of Boo Radley right here, because they look exactly alike. It's honestly creepy how similar they look. Now that I horribly describe what he looks like, I'm going to describe how he acts even more horribly. Let's call him Boo Radley. Just to save time and confusion, we're calling him Boo Radley. Hope you like your new name, buddy, because it's what I'm calling you from now on. Boo Radley is a very introverted individual. I got nothing against introverts, by the way, but for lack of a better word, I'll call him an introvert. Everything he does or every way he acts seems very suspicious to me. Firstly, this guy is almost never outside. I've only seen him maybe 2 times that were notable, and each time was pretty weird. When he does go out, it's either pouring rain or pitch black out. Like, dude, if you're a vampire, you can tell us. It's fine. It's 2017. Teens idolize vampires now. You don't need to be acting all suspicious every time you walk out of your house, my guy. I promise. The first time I saw him, it was during a thunderstorm at around 9 in the morning. I watched from the window like a creep to see what he was doing to find this. He opens his front door in a completely black trench coat. Okay, no problem. He could just be wearing it because of the rain. Understandable. It's fine. He then reaches over behind one of his bushes and pulls out a shovel. Okay, a bit more weird, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that maybe he was just bringing it to a shed or something. But then he goes into his backyard, makes a turn, and just kind of goes into a celery as with the shovel after grabbing a black garbage bag near the back doorway. Yeah, I felt a little uneasy after that. But that's not even good evidence. Why are you... Shh. Hush. Let me explain. The second time I saw him was during the nighttime. My family and I were coming back from my aunt's house in Queensboro after a Thanksgiving party. We pulled into the driveway to see him in his driveway. He was just sitting in his truck letting the engine run while he stared straight ahead. Oh, yeah, he has an old red pickup truck. Forgot to mention that. The perfect car for a serial killer, am I right? Anyway, we went inside to let our dogs outside, and I had to go out and watch my big dog, George. Before we had a fence at our driveway, we had to stay outside with the dogs to make sure that they wouldn't run away. I made sure to keep a close eye on George by looking down at my DS screen for the next 10 minutes. When it was time to go in, I went over to George to grab him. Then I saw Boo Radley, in the exact same spot, sitting in his truck with the engine running, staring straight ahead. Like, if you're gonna stare into space, at least do it in front of a television like the rest of America. What does me telling that story prove? I have no clue. Yo, who wrote this script? Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to put this part of the story in my video. I was thinking about it a lot, and I finally decided, might as well. So don't get the wrong impression of this, just let me say what I gotta say. A few years ago, my little brother, Anthony, was having a birthday party. The age isn't important, though I think he was turning 3. My next door neighbor, Nick, came over to hang out with me because his family was invited, and it only makes sense to have him with them. Low-key, before I started working on this video, Nick hit me up on Instagram and was like, "Hey, can I be in your video?" So here you go, Nick, here's your time to shine. Now get out. Nah, I'm only joking, I'll link his channel in the description. But anyway, he came over and we were hanging out together, playing this game where we dump a bunch of beach balls on my trampoline and hit each other with them, I think. The game made no sense, but who am I to judge? This video makes no sense. Let's get a round of applause for badly structured video ideas. Back on topic. We somehow managed to hit all the beach balls over my trampoline and into his yard, and now needed a way to get them back. I was too short to hop over the fence, and I couldn't ask Boo Radley if I could go into his yard to get the beach balls. 1, because he wasn't home, and 2, do you really think I want to be in an extremely close range of him? We went out front, and I devised a very skillful and crafty idea on how to get the beach balls back. His fence to get into the backyard, at least in a part of it in the front, was a bit broken, so getting in would be easy. We figured that going through that would be our only way in. This part highlights my mindset of when I was 13. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm not. We crept up all slowly, making sure not to make a single sound so that nobody would hear us, taking every precaution we could so that our plan would be foolproof. I reached the gate, getting ready to undo the strings holding the lock together, and then... I kicked the door down. Yeah, I decided to walk up to the door at the gate and straight up kick it down. Without even giving it a second thought, I just brought my foot up and heel kicked it like I was in a movie. Nick didn't even know what to say, he sort of just stood there. I mean, what would you say in that situation? Hey, here's a little helpful PSA. Don't kick your neighbor's freaking gate down, because while I never got in trouble for doing this, you can. Thinking back on it, I'm trying to find an actual reason as to why my middle school mind thought that doing this would be a good idea. Why can't you be smart like me, younger me? After I decided to go Super Saiyan on his gate, I calmly walked into his overgrown backyard and started throwing the beach balls back over the gate, telling Nick to go back because I didn't want him to get caught being in here. Wow, way to look out for others, me. I'm so glad that you were being extra cautious about breaking into someone's property. After that, I started walking back when, and I'm dead serious when I say this, I see a bone laying on the ground. Now, to my knowledge, back then, I'm almost positive Boo Radley didn't have a dog. And even if he did, this bone didn't look like a dog bone. It looked a lot bigger. Like a, dare I say it, human arm bone. You still with me? Probably not. I wish I could prove that I wasn't lying, though it's not that credible when you're getting the information from a stranger on the internet. Who knows? Maybe I am lying. Maybe I just said that stuff to play a bit of reverse psychology in order to make you think I'm telling the truth, when actually I'm lying. Guess you'll never know, will you? For real though, I'm telling the truth. I ran out, propped the gate back up best I can, and went back to the party at my house. I never told anyone about the bone. If I told my parents, I then would have had to explain the whole story, such as the part where I heel kicked his gate and went into his property. It made me so mad that I wasn't able to tell them, but I probably would have been in extremely big trouble if I did. You know, for breaking and entering. Plus, both of them are cops, so the punishment that they would have given me would be like 10 times worse than if they weren't cops. Which, yeah, that's another thing. I even knew what I did was wrong, yet I still decided to do what I did. You don't gotta worry about yelling at me now, Mom and Dad. I'm doing it myself. See how responsible I'm being? Now go to your room. I never went back into his yard for more than one reason, and I promise you that's the only time I broke into someone's property, as far as you know. But with the criminality portion of the story out of the way, that bone that I saw in the yard was extremely suspicious. It was like trying to be hidden behind a bunch of scrap metal, overgrown weeds, and random junk, but I saw it. I see it all. I know it all. I can go on and list the tiny details about what makes this guy give me the spooks, but as you can tell by my self-assessment throughout the video, I'm pretty bad with segueing transitions into my videos from one topic to the next. So here's a list I made instead. 1. The dude has red light bulbs that he uses for lighting instead of white ones. Like, what? 2. If you look into his front window, you can see that all his furniture is pretty dated. He even has one of those wooden television sets from the 80s that he uses. 3. Every time I pass by his house on my bike or whatever, he just stops what he's doing to stare at me. 4. This is kind of a continuation of 3, but the same goes for my whole family. When we pull into the driveway at night and he's outside, he'll try and blend into whatever surroundings he's against. It usually doesn't work. 5. He lets his lawn get overgrown to the point where the grass is like half the size of my fence. 6. Sometimes I hear sounds coming from his house, like yelling or something like that, but I'll let that one slide because there's families with young hyper children practically surrounding us. 7. I think this is the last notable one, but the way he speaks is very uneven. Normally, people speak and you understand the tone they're speaking in. Boo Radley's voice is just... You need an instruction manual to understand his tone, because you can't tell if he's angry, sad, happy, or all three at the same time when he speaks. And that's it. The list is done. I think you could see my point of view by now, at least a little bit. I mean, who knows? I'm being so critical to judge this guy, yet he may be the nicest guy there is. While I'm thinking he's a serial killer, he's probably chilling in his house drinking apple juice and watching soap operas. On his old TV, but no judgments. It's all good. Look, I'm usually not one to judge people by first impressions. Everyone has their own special quirks and habits that may seem off to others. It's what makes us all human beings, especially when I know that I, a human being, have my own flaws that I need to improve myself on. But realize that these accusations, I guess you could call them, were formed over a long period of time. I just wanted to make that extra clear. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm sorry for expressing hypocrisy throughout the video, if it even is that. I don't know. I just wanted to explain how I feel in a bigger way than simply just writing it down on paper and calling it a day, you know? Also, I wanted to make this video in the event that I ever go missing so that you make sure to check his house first, but anyway, I don't know how to end the video. So here's a clip of my Pomeranian, Charlie. Isn't he the cutest? Oh, you're still here? Like, comment, subscribe.